I'll say this: we're doing this. This is one of those like uh, modeling things, right? Modeling what EMDR looks like for Black women,
Okay.
right? Um, but this is very real.
Yes, ma'am.
This is not, like you said, this is not scripted. This just gives Black women an inside look into the process, normalizing it, making it feel safe, showing them the 8 phases of EMDR, the 3 prongs of EMDR. We'll talk about what that is,
Okay.
and just going through all the steps.
Okay.
Okay. You feeling good?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good.
Good. All right. Okay. One of the first parts of EMDR, we deal with the past, the present, and the future. Those are the 3 prongs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So first we identify past memories that are connected to your negative cognition of I am not good enough. All right. I am not good enough. And then we identify present triggers, things in the present that trigger these negative emotions that come along with that negative cognition.
Okay.
And then we'll work on a future template. We'll visualize and practice ways for you to respond when you have a trigger in the future. Okay. More adaptive ways. It may not show up in your body. We may have to practice something different, like, hey, I have to repeat this affirmation at this point. I am good enough. We don't know what that is. We'll get there. Okay. We're going to talk about where you want to be in the future. All right. We'll talk about where you are in the present and what comes up in the past. But first, let's talk about it. I know, like, for me, right? This feeling that that feeling that I had of not being good enough started in childhood. Right, for me. I grew up in foster care. My mother was schizophrenic. My father had his own substance use and mental health issues. All right.
Ooh.
And being placed in foster care, obviously that's going to come with something like feeling of out of place, being out of place, feeling that you're different. Something is wrong, right? Children don't have the cognitive processes to understand that the family is dysfunctional, the parent is a problem. They don't understand that. So they kind of turn on themselves. They conclude, I must be the problem. Something is wrong with me, especially if you don't have a parent challenging that or saying, hey, you're right. Something is wrong with this family. Something's wrong with me. So, but when you're left to figure out what the problem is for yourself and you don't have the brain, your brain is not fully developed enough for you to understand something outside of yourself. You turn on yourself and you start to develop these negative core beliefs.
Yes.
All right. So I am not good enough. Tell me about that. What does that mean for you? What does that look like? And if you can, tell me about the most recent time where you felt like you weren't good enough.
Recent in my
Most
present.
recent in the present.
Ooh,
yeah, most recent.
In my journey of unemployment, being overlooked, I started to develop this fear, this anxiety every time I would get to that section in the applications that would ask you about your ethnicity. Never in life have I ever like doubted or be like, maybe I should put do not answer or prefer not to answer. Never. But for the first time in life, whenever I would get to that part, I would have to stop and ask myself, I wonder if I would put prefer not to answer, if that would make a difference in me getting a job. I wonder if I would put a different gender, if that would cause me to be able to get a job. And I carried that along with each and every application. And I must have put out at least 1,000 applications. And with every application, I had that knot in my stomach, that nausea, feeling like, But I think what kind of calmed me from that is just going on my word and just knowing the word and knowing that I'm beautifully and wonderfully made. God created me. And if an employer can't accept me for who God created me to be, then I don't need to be your employee. And so that would be my kind of like coping mechanism to just get through that process right before I hit submit.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And so the most recent time you had that experience, what's the worst part of this for you? Don't fix, don't cope in this moment. Tell me what's the worst part of that for you.
The worst part of that for me is in real life, I was filling out an application that the computer was looking at me. I was looking at the computer. In my head, it was as if there was like a human being that was able to see me, that was able to see my skin complexion, that was able to see my full lips, that was able to see I don't look like the next person, right? And so there were moments where I literally had to put my laptop down, get up, and come back because it was just like, okay, I don't want this person looking at me. I don't want this person to see me. I don't look my best, or my brows aren't perfectly arched, and and so for me, I just felt like that was the hardest part because it played into my insecurity. So something that was so small turned into like a spider web because now I started to think about, well, I do think that I'm not beautiful. I do think that I don't look the way the norm, what society makes beautiful feel, or how beautiful should look like and stuff like that. And so that would also like trigger into something else, and then an application that would only supposed to take, let's say, 25 minutes would ruin my whole day. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And do the words "I am not good enough" still fit as a negative belief attached to that, or is there something else? I want you to phrase it as "I am." Always, I am. What fits? What goes along with that recent memory?
I'm not good enough. I am not smart enough. I'm not beautiful enough. I'm not strong enough. Um, I am not powerful enough. I am not. I'm not enough. Yeah, just not enough. Like I'm imperfect.
Okay. I want you to think about that most recent experience, right? You're filling out these job applications, your thoughts are starting to center around these negative beliefs. And I want you to pair it. Just go think about it. Just picture yourself in that moment. And I want you to pair it with the words, I am not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not beautiful, strong, or powerful enough. Right? I want you to go there and pair that together. Just sit with it for a moment. And when you do, I want you to tell me, what do you notice in your physical body when you pair those two together?
That makes me not feel enough, or like, am I like, what do I feel?
What do you feel currently in your physical body when you visualize filling out these job applications, putting yourself back in that moment? Okay, you're there, you're getting to that point in the application where it asks for certain demographics, right? And I want you to pair it with the words, I am not enough. In your mind, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not strong. I want you to pair it. Sit with it for a moment. What do you notice in your physical body? Are there any changes in your breathing? Do you notice any tension anywhere?
Yes, for sure. Palpitation, for sure. It's like there's a pain in the pit of my stomach. It starts off like a cramp, but then quickly, like quickly turns into nausea. My breathing, I catch myself having to catch big breaths to get my rhythm back on track. Tension in my shoulders. Um, I have to do these weird things with my mouth because my jaw would, I would feel tension. Um, and because I've um, broken multiple molars by grinding and, stressors. I tend to be like, this is my last resort. Once I start to feel this, then I'm like, okay, Jess, you gotta snap out of it. And then I would, do all these funny things with my jaw to loosen it up.
So how are you feeling? You're
I'm good. I'm comfortable.
All right. So my next question for you is, when you think about that tension in your body, all right, on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 is no distress, and 10 is the worst possible distress. 0, no, neutral, 10, worst. Where does that, how disturbing is it to you in the present moment on a scale of 0 to 10? Attention, the emotions.
In the present moment, I would say right now is like a 7. Um, I'm sorry, the breathing, the heavy breathing. It's
don't judge it.
I'm trying to, it's uncomfortable. But I've had worse.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think it's just uncomfortable.
All right. A little bit of discomfort is okay. We can tolerate discomfort. All right. Okay. So now we have all these emotions that come up, right, connected to this negative cognition that are showing up in your body as deep breaths, this breathing changes, this cramp that turns into nausea, tension in your shoulders, this clenching of the jaw, the grinding and the palpitations. All right. Those are all emotions showing up. Okay. So that's how it's showing up in your physical body. I want you to hold that memory in mind, right? That memory you brought up, this most recent time where you were job searching, all right? This negative cognition, I am not good enough, pair them together, right? Okay. And if you will, I want you to float back to an earlier time in life where you've experienced this, maybe even to the first time, okay? Don't judge what comes up, don't fix it, don't try to intellectualize or explain it away. I want you to think of it like you giving me the titles of the book, but not the chapters. All right. Just tell me what comes to mind. The first thing that comes to mind where you've experienced these feelings before.
It's one thing to do it in private, but then the first thing that comes to mind is the first time that I noticed that I had a last name that no one else in my family had. And I tried to ask the woman who gave birth to me, I tried to ask her, why don't I have the same last name as my father, or my older sibling, or her? Like, why don't I have the family's last name? And I didn't get an explanation. I was just told, go ask your father.
I want you to keep floating back, right? Float back off each memory. Tell me what's the first thing that comes to mind where you've experienced those emotions before.
Before that, because I was really young when that question came about. I had to be like 10 when that came about. So prior to that, it was hearing conversations over and over about how I was a crier as a newborn, as a baby, and how I wouldn't let the woman who gave birth to me, I wouldn't let her sleep at night. So it made sense to her to just repeatedly beat me so that I would cry myself to sleep. And my sister was the one that would have to come and take me from her and have me sleep in her bed with her. And my sister didn't have a room. She slept in the living room on a bed, on a, I want to say like a twin size bed. And so she would hear my mom like just beating me so that I can sleep. So she would just come and take me to her. And, you know, that's where that bond started. And everyone thought like she was my mom because like my sister was always the one taking care of me.
Okay. I want you to keep floating back. Right. Just allow your mind to go back to other times you've experienced that. In middle school, could be any point in life where you felt those emotions.
In school, for sure. I remember being in elementary school. Um, the first time I noticed something for the opposite sex. I noticed like, ooh, like I like a boy, you know, because those conversations weren't had at home growing up in a Haitian American household, and I didn't know what to do with all of those feelings. So I was very transparent, and I just told my friends like, I think that I feel like he's good looking, you know. And then they went and told him, and he laughed at me. He laughed at me, and that turned into um, him actually expressing, you know, the girl that he actually liked, which looked nothing like me, you know.
All right, let's keep floating back. Tell me again. You'd be surprised how many memories are connected.
I'm surprised too because I thought I buried these things and like they were gone.
Tell me what comes to mind.
My first real relationship? No, I'm gonna go back before that. Losing my virginity. Losing my virginity, I described it as, and I think I talk about this in my book too. I knew that I wasn't in love. I was in like, for sure. But in my head, we're always taught that your virginity is precious and the person who loves you the most is the person that deserves it. I never thought like somebody would love me so much that they would deserve my virginity. So I'm just like, what's the point of holding on to this? What's the point of not experiencing this good feeling, this good thing that everybody else in high school is talking about when I may be old and wrinkly and I might not ever find somebody deserving to have that. So I willingly and knowingly just said, why not? Let's just do it. And in a sick, twisted way, right after, I just felt, ooh, okay, that's over. You know, like all those emotions, all those bubbly feelings that women tend to describe, like in those Lifetime movies. I didn't feel none of that. It was just like, okay, like, okay.
I want you to keep floating back.
I think that comes to mind. I can go into my first real relationship. The fact that at a point I thought like, okay, this is my person. I'm gonna run away with him, and we're just gonna start a new life somewhere, and somewhere people won't recognize us and whatever. But eventually, we may play dumb as women, but we're not dumb. Eventually, even though I was young, I was like, yeah, this ain't it. But the way he fought for me, even though he was also hurting me. That man fought. That man fought. He fought. He fought. He fought. And for me, I remember when I ended that relationship because of the cheating, which is also part of what made me feel like I wasn't enough. Like, I'm not enough that you have to go. You're fighting for me so hard. You don't want to lose me because I'm so precious to you, but yet you're also cheating, right? There's a part of me that truly believed that he saw something precious. He didn't know how to treat that something precious, but he saw something precious. And he truly, truly was one of the first people to make me feel like, remind me that I'm not good enough, but in the same breath, make me feel like I'm good enough, if that makes sense. You know? So, as you can tell, it was a toxic relationship, but to finally have a breather, and I was a teenager for this specific instant. I was a teenager, but to finally, from such a young girl at now being a teenager, have somebody make you feel like you're precious and counteract everything you've been feeling from before, that's what made it confusing for me.
We'll go into that with processing. I want you to give me the titles of the book. Right? We don't want to start any processing. I want you to continue to flow back off each memory and tell me what's the first thing that comes up where you felt those emotions, that feeling in your gut, right? That jaw clenching, all of those things that show up connected to this negative core belief, I'm not good enough. What comes to mind? Does something else come up for you?
Multiple instances of me being in my room. That's where majority of my memories stem from. This individual that I thought was my father, when he would come every quarter of the year for visitation, in front of me, he would be speaking to his wife and he would be lying about where he's at. He would be lying about he's at work. He's going to be finishing late, so he's going to be getting home a little bit later. And then just resumed back to whatever conversation we were having, like nothing happened. That made me feel like I wasn't good enough. Like, why can't you just, you know? The emotional abuse that I had to live with. The woman who birthed me was a very abusive person in multiple ways. And though I don't really care for the physical abuse, I don't really care about all the other abuse, but the emotional abuse, every time she would open up her mouth to me, she would make me feel like I'm not good enough with the verbal abuse, the emotional abuse, the mental abuse. And so I just feel like it kind of stemmed from there, honestly.
Okay. Let's pause here for a moment, okay? I want you to check in with your body. How are you feeling physically? Are you noticing any changes in your body, any tension?
Yeah, tension definitely in my shoulders. Um, I'm feeling the need to rub on this couch a little bit more
Yeah.
to kind of center me. Um, I know you said physical, but also in my mind, I'm just thinking about my kids.
Okay. All right. Let's pause here for a moment. All right. We paused for a moment, and in that pause, we didn't edit anything out, but just talking about how some of these memories you had kind of compartmentalized.
Definitely.
Just didn't remember them. They weren't present. And I was explaining how when we're in crisis or fight, flight, freeze, fawn, those modes, right, we're not processing. Our brains have this amazing ability, just like a computer, to file something away, right? Just waiting for us to open it up again.
Yeah.
The brain wants to complete.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wants to complete it, right? Sometimes subconsciously we'll repeat things because the brain is looking for, right, a neural network that solves that problem. But that's what happened when we don't go back and revisit these things. They come up. They show up in our bodies when we react. They're there. They're just in the background, like, hey, I'm hanging out in this file. The name of this file is I am not good enough. And everything that's connected to it is right there. And when Jess applies for a job and she feels these things, she's not only reacting to this question on the application, she's reacting to everything that's in that file. All right. So we are going to go back and close some of the browsers. All right.
I love, cause I'm getting the visual as you're, okay.
We're going to do that by reprocessing them. Okay. We're going to look at them as Jess, who is the adult, who has done some work, who is better equipped and resourced, all right, and is safe enough to go back and look at them. We're not reliving them. We don't relive. We just reprocess. Got it. All right. And there's a pattern to all of these memories, right? If you look at each of them, you can, I'm sure by now you can point out how each is connected to this negative core belief. Yeah. Yeah. It's like a ping pong. Like
yes,
a spider
exactly.
Yeah. All right. Tell me your thoughts so far. I want to check in. All right. It's gonna take us a couple sessions to finish our treatment plan, but I want to check in. All right.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very comfortable. I'm actually very shocked. Because like we wake up every day and we don't talk about these things. I don't talk about these things. I don't think about these things. 5th grade, like I don't remember the like, but now as I'm talking about it, like I can remember his name. Yeah. I can remember what he looked like. I can remember, even what like the environment, like it was sunny outside. Like I can put myself there. And it just goes back as to why I love the brain so much, because it's such a
beautiful and fascinating
way.
I mean, think about it. They made computers modeled after this thing that God created. Yeah. It's like, imagine what the computer can do and store. Our brains, like,
I don't know. This just makes me like still. And my husband is gonna be like, yeah, let's not even like. I be trying to think like, yo, God, what is your brain like?
Literally, if he can do this, and then people take what he did and create that. It's a lot. It's too much. You know how they say our ways are not his ways. Like we can't even fathom. Like when I'm doing EMDR, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, well, how deep does this go?
Yes.
And then I think of like, God created this universe. How deep does it go? Oh
my goodness. Oh my goodness. And then the funny thing is, I feel like with this process, it's either going to answer some of my questions about how deep does this really go, or give me more questions to go to God. Like, all right, so we got to have a conversation because I need some understandings. But it's an honor for us to worship him and to adore him and to be his. Because to know that a God that is so perfect created us, like he had us in mind.
And in a way, gives us an out when we're in these difficult situations.
Yes,
it's like, hey, you can't tolerate this right now.
Yes.
So look, put it aside.
Give it to him.
At some point,
Sonia, I promise you, that has been my saving grace, my belief. When my cup is overflowing, when I'm putting in these applications and I think I'm so frustrated at that one little demographic section, and really now we just discovered like everything else that I'm carrying, and I get so angry and I get so frustrated and I get so sad and emotional. I freeze, and I'm for
something that's frozen in time. If you think about everything that's in this DSM, depression, stuck, right?
I freeze, and to unfreeze me, I'm like, God,
throw me out, Lord. Throw me out,
I
Lord.
Give it to you. I give it to you. Mind you, it's not all the time. It's easy to just give it to God. There are days I gotta go in my closet and cry. There are days I gotta be like, babe, hold on the kids while I go in the shower when really I'm crying my eyes out. There are days where I'm so angry and I want to break things and I want to, do so many things before I get to that step where I'm like, okay, God, I surrender it to you. But there are days when I'm powerful and I feel strong and I'm reminded of the love of God that He had me in mind. I'm like, God, take it. Jizzy, I'm gonna teach you some Creole while you're here
because I'm a New Orleans girl. We say we're Creole and all that. Some of my besties speak French.
That's it.
But I think this process, the one of the most beautiful parts of it is when you're able to see your own picture. It's like you step back and you see the map of everything. Whoa, everything is connected. This is right. So when Jess is, and I'm saying Jess, all right. When Jess is filling out a job application, she becomes more aware that, okay, this freezing may be disproportionate to what I'm doing in this moment, right? There's something else at play here. This is a trigger. This is just a trigger, all right? And in response to a trigger, how did Jess respond to past experiences? Did she freeze? Yeah, did she fawn? All right. So our brain learns a pattern. Okay. If you're freezing in response to some of this past stuff, you might be freezing in response to some of these present triggers. We have to learn a different way. Yeah. All right. So let's look at your map. All right. You have a sheet here if you want to look at it. I have the same copy, but mine is more filled out with some of your negative past experiences. Those are going to be the things you just identified, right? And then I wrote down some of your symptoms. You can tell me if there are more. Okay. All right. Some of this breathing changes, this cramp that turns into nausea, tension in your shoulders, those mouth stretches that are connected to the teeth grinding, palpitations. I put a little self-soothing, right? A little stimming, self-soothing. All right. Let's talk about things that trigger some of these feelings for you. I know one is job applications. All right. I'll add that as a trigger. Can you think of anything else that might trigger some of those emotions for you currently in the present?
Confrontation. Any type of confrontation. I'm not a confrontational person. Okay. I like peace. So arguing with my friends, with my partner, with anybody just makes me feel it triggers those for me.
Anything else, any other triggers that you've identified? Could be people, could be places.
Looking in a mirror currently. Okay.
Anything else that might be a trigger for you? It's okay if you can't think of something else, but I just want to leave space for it.
No, I just feel like my own memories is usually the triggers.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Even in my children, when they do certain things, or because they look like me. So there's like a face they would give me when they're having a bad day. It would bring me back to when I was a child, and I was having a bad day. Um, and once I get to me being a child, it's like the overflow, the gates of overflow open, and then all those memories.
Would it feel correct to say your children's expressions or?
Yes, okay. I would say that. All right.
Let's talk about where we want to be. All right, we're gonna build some resources at some point, but let's talk about where you want to be. So, in response to completing these job applications, I see where you have some of these negative symptoms. What would you like to be able to do in the future? In the future, I would like to do what?
I would like to be successful.
Mm-hmm. I want you to talk about it specifically in terms of completing these job applications. You would like to successfully complete them?
I would like to be financially comfortable, to be able to take care of my children, take care of my loved ones, give back to the less fortunate.
Okay. And to do that, you would need to be able to accomplish some of these job applications.
Okay. In my mind.
Okay, so tell me about that. In the future, I would like to. Let's talk about the task. Right? Okay. Task of completing these applications. In the future, I would like to.
In the future, I would like to be able to complete an application and actually get a good callback or have positive results, positive outcome of me completing the application.
How would you like to feel emotionally while you're doing that?
I would like to feel emotionally safe. I would like to feel comfortable. I would like to feel like I'm not vulnerable. I would like to feel like I'm just filling out these applications, and that's it.
What about with confrontation and arguing? How would you like to feel emotionally? Because in life, things happen, right? How would you like to feel emotionally when there is a confrontation or there is an argument?
I would like to feel like I am equipped enough to comfortably express myself, not have to keep my mouth shut just to make the other person comfortable, to not create more of an issue, and stand on what I believe is right and what I believe is wrong, whether that causes a little friction or not.
And then, in terms of looking in the mirror, what would you like to experience?
Girl, I would like to be in the mirror and just enjoy being in the mirror. Oh my goodness, I would just love to just stare at myself in the mirror. Be one of those girls, those little mirrors back in the days. I want one day in life, yo. If y'all see me pop up with my little mirror, don't judge me. I want to be able to have my little mirror in my pocketbook when I'm somewhere. Like it's like I would like to have my little pocketbook with my mirror inside, and if I'm somewhere, I can comfortably open it and touch up my lip gloss, and make sure I'm not sweating. Touch up, and put it away, and like what I see. Yeah, like what I see.
All right. In response to your children's expressions, I would like to.
I would like to have the capacity to be able to walk them through their emotions. Because a lot of times right now is like when they break down, I break down. Like we all break down. Or if dad is available, like I'm like, okay, go tell daddy, because I don't like to deal with emotions. But I want to be that mom that is able to deal with those emotions and teach them how to deal and cope with those emotions.
So you want to be able to cope with their emotion. Okay. Does it feel like this is achievable to you? These things, these goals?
I definitely feel like it's achievable. I feel like I've already been aware. Like I'm aware, like, okay, these are things that I need to work on, and I'm trying to work on. Compared to prior, where it was just I was oblivious. Like I was just walking around thinking I was mad for no reason or angry for no reason. Like now I'm aware. Like, just, you're not broken. You don't need to be fixed. You just need healing.
Yeah.
So I think it's doable.
Okay. All right. In our next session, what we're going to do is build some resources. Before we go into processing, there has to be some resources that keep you safe. Okay. Right. When we do it, we'll agree upon a hand signal, something that you can use to let me know if things start to get too uncomfortable for you, if you start to feel like you're outside of your window of tolerance.
Okay.
So it could be like putting your hand up, it could be, hey, thumbs up, nose tap, whatever you want it to be, letting me know that you need to go to a calm place or we need to do some other grounding. Okay. All right. So in our next session, we'll focus mostly on grounding and resource building.
Okay.
So we can start processing this in a safe way.
Okay.
All right.
Alrighty.
All right, Jess.
Stay tuned.